This video made possible by the Global Innovation Exchange. Visit gixnetwork.org to learn more.
Thanks everyone for hanging with us today at the IoT room. There's been some really good talks, but I'm a little biased. I think this is probably the most interesting if you like sports and technology. We've got Eric King and Ian Wheat from the Kings, and thanks for coming up and just tell us a bit about what you do, and we'll get to a video about the most high-tech arena in sports.
Hey everybody, Ian Wheat, Director of Esports and Innovation for the Sacramento Kings. Get to work on some of the exciting projects for our organization and help bring some of the ownership's vision to life with the fan experience, with esports, and with blockchain as well. So,
Eric King, Sacramento Kings, VP of Technology. Been with the team since 2011. I was able to help with the team to build this arena, and I oversee all the technology in the arena and the campus.
Cool. You guys got some really cool jobs. I think I'm a little jealous. So this is being called, it's hailed as the most high-tech arena in sports. A pertinent conversation here in Seattle just a few hours ago. The NHL Executive Committee actually did recommend an expansion to Seattle for a team here. So, yeah, it looks like
congratulations. Well deserved.
Looks like we're on the path to get an NHL team here in Seattle Center, and so Key Arena will be, redeveloped, and possibly maybe the new Key Arena will take the new title as the most world's high tech. We'll see what Oakview Group does with that, but glad to have you here and get some insights on how the Kings have done it. So I think we've got a video here.
Next.
One more. And I think it's, there it is. Oops, that's me.
Golden One Center is the most technologically advanced and sustainable arena in the world. Through innovative solutions and next-generation hardware, Golden One Center has created an unmatched and enhanced fan experience. Wired magazine recently called Golden One Center pretty much a giant Tesla, and the New York Times has hailed the arena as the most technologically advanced arena in the world. Through a first-of-its-kind dual-mode mobile app, fans are prepared with everything they need for a game night. The Kings and Golden One Center app provides fans with real-time information about the venue, traffic, in-arena experience upgrades, and the team like never before. It features the NBA's first chatbot, Kai, King's artificial intelligence, to answer fans' questions. Powering the fan experience resides in the arena's 6,000 square foot next-generation command center, housing a Tier 4 data center, a first-of-its-kind 4K broadcast control room, and the arena's central nervous system, Mission Control, where various teams make use of real-time information to ensure the best possible fan experience. The arena is also the first implementation in the world of multi-mode wideband fiber, allowing for lightning-fast communication between the arena's processing computers. Powering the arena is a 200 gigabit per second internet connection, 17,000 times faster than the average home connection. Complementing the arena Wi-Fi is an advanced distributed antenna system, ensuring that every cell phone has reception. The arena is home to the NBA's most advanced video board. This 4K Ultra HD screen features over 32 million pixels and has 4 times the clarity of a standard HD TV. The board spans the length of the court and provides spectacular views all around the arena. Around the arena, 700 additional screens complement the center-hung 6,100 square foot video board. The infrastructure at Golden One Center is future-proofed, meaning it's built to last for years to come. With over 1,000 access points, beacons, and sensors, the only limits on the network at Golden One Center are the user's devices. With over 1,000 miles of cable and an infrastructure designed to update with technology, Golden One Center is the first Coliseum of the 21st century.
So pretty epic there. So you heard the narrator say future-proofing. So you both were there before this whole project started, and then you've kind of seen it come to fruition, and now we're here. So tell us a bit about tell us a bit about how do you future-proof an arena and the whole complex, and what goes into that? Because by the time you're done building the arena, we may have new devices or new software that's already beyond what you've been set up for. So tell us about that. I understand you could send 500,000 Snapchats a minute at the stadium. If that ever happens, I don't know, but that's pretty extensive.
So first, I want to this was all made possible by our high-tech ownership group. Vivek Ranadive is the majority owner of the team. He digitized Wall Street. He's known as Mr. Real-Time on Wall Street. He's the founder of Tibco. We also have Paul Jacobs from Qualcomm, who was instrumental in the Wi-Fi infrastructure in this building. And we have Chris Kelly from Facebook was also on our ownership group. So those guys, when we set out to build this arena, they wanted us to go out and like you said, future-proof it. So we went to other arenas to kind of find out what their pain points were and build off of that. We noticed some things like they had separate data centers in their control room. We decided to create a co-located data center, 6,000 square foot. So we implemented all that. The video kind of stole all of our future-proofing thunder. So I mean, everything they mentioned in the video is how we future-proof the building. We have like 2 100 gigabit connections for internet speeds. Like you said, that powers 17,000 fans. It's the same bandwidth as 17,000 homes. We give it to our fans. So things like that we did to, we installed wideband multimode fiber, which is a 100 gigabit backbone for internet connectivity to support all these edge devices. So that's how we future-proofed it. We went out and got these engineers and developed state-of-the-art arena for our fans.
Yeah, I was just going to add, if you could jump back to the previous slide, one more, without the video playing again. But before we get there, there were 4 main goals we set out with the arena in that vision that was laid out by the ownership. One, to make it an iconic design, so you see that with the design of the building there, and with those hangar doors that open the arena. So it's actually the first indoor-outdoor arena, which is great for some of our events. We had a post-game concert that stretched out into the plaza, so providing a unique overview. We wanted to make it the 21st century gathering place for that communal fireplace for people to gather, not just for basketball games, but 24/7, 365. How do you engage that plaza and that community gathering space for more than just those 2-hour, 3-hour events? And really make it a great part of the city. So as you guys are probably familiar with your existing sports teams and with the NBA team you're now getting, it's making that venue space kind of a Central Park as much as it is a great venue space. And then sustainability, it's the first LEED Platinum arena in the world. So a lot went into that, basically looked at every pain point for the infrastructure and the power usage and how do we reduce our carbon footprint. So food program, 90% of our food is sourced within 150 miles. Solar program, we have solar panels on the roof of the building, as you saw, and then we also have a solar farm that we partnered with to get the remaining power from. And then the doors, they actually function to cool and help maintain a climate in the arena if needed, so we can open those for ventilation. And then fourth up there, you see the most technologically advanced, which is a lot of what Eric talked about in really making sure the infrastructure is future-proof. The backbone is, the Wi-Fi, the throughput is there, and it's able to easily upgrade whenever new technology comes out or whatever else. So.
Yeah, talk more about the ability of the entire arena to kind of update itself, or I don't know if you've got engineers doing that, but your own Vivek, he likes to compare the arena to a Tesla and that it's updating, constantly versus just kind of being stationary, similar to a Tesla kind of does that each day. So what does that even mean, and how is that being done?
If you jump past the video, one more slide, was that arena bus one, but it really starts with the infrastructure. And, that provides the backbone for everything else to then build off of. So previous panel was about Internet of Things. All those things run on the Internet. So without that initial bandwidth to enable all those devices, it really wouldn't be possible. But Vivek's previous company, Tibco, is known for creating the information bus, which helped digitize Wall Street and major Fortune 500 companies. And that premise is software-based, but it's how do you take the appropriate inputs, load them into a bus, and deliver that to the right person at the right time to make the best decision possible. So we created that for the arena in our mission control room. Looks similar to like a NASA mission control room. We've got 12 different screens all displaying real-time data about our ticket scans, our point of sale, our traffic flow, our parking spaces, weather patterns, all those things that you'd expect around events. And we've got 16 different operational teams represented in there, from police and fire to guest services to food and beverage.
Social media.
Yep, constantly watching Twitter and social media. So that really allows us to, in real time, see what's going on in the arena and make faster decisions. So one thing Vivek often says is, we want to fix your problem or know that you're unhappy before you do, and then step in with great customer service to improve that fan experience.
Yeah, I think I read a quote from him. If your child drops his or her hot dog, you'll know before the child starts crying to give them another hot dog somehow through the app or through all your data analysis. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how necessary that is, but
yeah, it's we got security cameras and guest services, and it's more about connecting everything so that you can quickly do that instead of somebody spots it and nothing happens. So yeah, it just makes, that's just an example of
talking about that fan experience, Right.
Yeah, talk about the fan experience. I think we were just talking, before the panel about 10 years ago, we were, the idea of a mobile ticket didn't really even exist. Twitter was barely even on the scene. And now you go to a game and, half the crowd is kind of their head is, buried in their phone. Is that a good thing? Is that what you're going for? I know you referred to the mobile app as the remote control for the fan. Tell us about how you think about the fan experience and combine that with the app, but also you still want them to watch the game, right? As long as the team is good.
Yeah. It's about providing the amenities that the fans have come to expect. Restrooms, water fountains, and Wi-Fi. People expect to be able to pull out their phone and be able to share a photo or to share their experience with their friends. And if you don't have that, then that's a frustration point for the fan. So we provide it. How the fan decides to use it and enjoy their time there is entirely up to the fan. We just want to make sure we're providing the best possible experience for that. And it enables a ton of things. Our point of sale system is completely powered over the Wi-Fi, so all iPad based, and it makes you don't have to move a whole bunch of hardware to move a concession stand or to set up a temporary concession stand. Same thing with our ticket scanners. They're all networked in, and that allows us to see how many people are left coming into the building, so we know if we need to keep staff out front longer and help speed up the lines, or if we can pull staff in. The Wi-Fi and the fan experience for us, we created the app, which is the personal remote control, which you can find your ticket, your parking, buy tickets for parking ahead of time, find your event tickets, buy those tickets through there, order food to your seat, give feedback on temperature control. So we actually have, as part of the energy efficiency, HVAC system that can go section by section.
So you can control the temperature of your seat or your section, or how does that work?
The section. So it's if anybody's a HVAC nerd out there, it's pretty interesting, but it's under seat cooling. So instead of forced air over top, which wastes a ton of energy as it just fills the whole arena with cold air or warm air, whatever you're trying to do, it comes under the seats and cools the fans where they are, or heats the fans where they are. And the app, there's a spot for them to provide real-time feedback, which goes to mission control, which actually helped us calibrate the efficiency of it extremely well. It's technology can enable a lot of things, and whether it's the HVAC system or mobile tickets.
And this is the most connected arena in the world. We have over 1,000 access points. And one of Vivek's visions too was to make a seamless, frictionless experience. So we don't have a captive portal. You just come in, log into the Wi-Fi, and you're on the network. Completely DAS neutral. We have all of the carriers in the building too, so you have excellent Wi-Fi or cellular coverage.
And you alluded a little bit to security, or at least knowing when people are coming in, and we saw that the robot. There's a robot that we saw in that video. Tell us about that and what that's for and what that does.
Yeah, it's Nightscope, a company based out of Silicon Valley. They created an autonomous security robot, and it has over 30 sensors just to detect anomalies and any outliers. It's become a very popular attraction for kids wanting to take selfies with it. So it provides some fun as kind of a secondary mascot for us. But it's an interesting piece of technology. It monitors the interior of the building, and it can has heat sensors. So if something gets left on at one of the food concession stands, we can see that. It'll alert us. And then it also detects, noises or other anomalies and reports back to our security operations.
Facial recognition, LPR, does all that.
So the robot does facial recognition?
Yeah, so report that back to security. Yep.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk about, and I've met with the Oakview group who was redoing Seattle Center, and they've talked about, do you facially scan every fan that walks in so exactly who is in your building, and of course that brings up a lot of privacy issues too. So do you guys talk about that or think about that in terms of it'd be nice to know exactly who's in the building, but you don't want to maybe scare fans away or increase this worriness about privacy? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
We're not quite there yet. We're actually in discussions with some companies regarding facial. We might start in our lounges to kind of ease people into it, get them comfortable, like season ticket member holders.
We both just went to Amazon Go store. I mean, anything that makes your experience easier, more seamless, it's something you want to offer to the fan. Obviously, it's opt-in if the fan wants to do it so they can walk in or take the express lane. No different than what you see at airports or I think Delta announced that they were going to start doing facial recognition for tickets. So another one of those offerings that if it adds value to the fan, we'll offer it to them.
So we've mentioned Vivek a bunch of times, but let's talk about what you've learned from him and working with him, and not just him, but Paul Jacobs, as you mentioned, former executive chairman of Qualcomm. It kind of follows this trend of, there's a lot of these tech billionaires. Steve Ballmer is probably the most notable example of owning teams and getting into teams and really getting involved with both, the on the court, on the field, but also building arenas and adding technology and adding their expertise. So what's it like been working with Vivek? And as you mentioned, he's the founder of TIPCO, $4 billion company. And a great technology mind. So what is it like working with folks like that know so much about technology but merging it into the sports world and kind of balancing? It's almost like a balancing act. But what have you learned from them in terms of like tech implementation?
What do you got? A lot of pressure, like just being with that heavy tech ownership group. You just want to always cutting edge. We're always innovating, trying to push things forward to the limit. He's a big stats person, data guy. So we're trying to do everything we can to make the fan experience the best.
Yeah, and our boss, the CTO there at the Kings, and working with him, it's, going through the process of the vision to execution on the arena and with the software and with the app, they set the bar really, really high, and they paint, with broad strokes, the vision. And for us, it's about how do you make that come to life? How do you... When he says he wants to make a personal remote control, like, okay, we have to start figuring out what does that mean? What does that mean for the Wi-Fi? When he says he wants the fastest Wi-Fi possible, what does that mean? And who do we work with to make it happen? So I find it, fascinating and challenging in the right ways and pretty fun. It's like a fun problem to solve.
To piggyback on that too, so like we're going into our third season and we're still there's no other arena out there that can touch us. So we're still the most technologically advanced arena on the planet.
And when you're talking about new implementations or new partners to work with, are you just testing everything out? I would assume you've got tons of inbound. People want to work with you. Companies want to partner. Is there a rubric you're using or some kind of filter? Or are you just kind of trying everything out and maybe something will work, kind of?
That's our CTO. He's really good at vetting out technology that we should think if it works for us, we're going to try it. If he thinks it's going to work, we'll use it, right?
Yeah, him and we're part of that filter system, and it's just staying up on what ownership wants to do, what issues we want to solve, and what companies out there do it the best.
So let's shift gears a little bit, maybe talk a bit about esports. The Kings have a team in the new NBA 2K league. There's a pretty big deal, sponsored and partnering with 2K Sports, the biggest basketball video game company out there. So there's actually I don't think all the teams have them yet, but... Yeah,
so following off of your NBA acquisition, definitely jump on the esports one as well. But the NBA started and partnered with Take-Two Interactive to launch a basketball-based esports league. So 21 teams will be participating next season, which is over 70% of the league, I think. And, it's 5 versus 5, just all on video game. And it is a great move by the NBA to kind of see where the puck's going and get ahead of Twitch and the younger generation and how they're consuming this content. And it's obviously a great mix of new NBA fans and a great new area to explore in how to broadcast the game and what the game should look like for the in-home consumer and how to interact with it more. So it's very much kind of the cutting edge or the kind of seeing where things are going, R&D, if you will, for the league. But it's pretty exciting. It's a fun, engaging way to bring in new fans. So if you get a chance to check it out, it's on Twitch, and the season starts at the end of the regular NBA season.
Yeah.
You want to touch on the actual game room?
Yeah, so we built out, thanks to the infrastructure of the arena, we built out a full practice studio for our team to play in. So that's built off of the Wi-Fi backbone. And we have full 5-on-5 dedicated practice facility in there. I don't know if anybody's been to any esports arenas or venues, but they're constantly growing larger and larger and selling out. And ours connects into the arena infrastructure so we could broadcast it to the entire arena bowl, put it up on that big 4K screen that you see there. And then it also doubles as kind of the main practice grounds for our team.
Yeah, I think it's been fascinating to see the juxtaposition of this new, like basically a video game league. But, if you're not familiar with it, like it's actually, professional NBA 2K gamers that are like, there was a draft for them. They're getting paid like a good amount, like more than a living wage, like nice money.
Yeah,
they're getting treated like almost like NBA. It's funny to like see them being treated like stars, but they are in this new world.
They get paid. It's basically on the same level as the G League. So it actually helped raise the salary for the G League players because the new league.
And the G League is like the AAA of NBA.
Yep. But last year was the first year for it. It was extremely successful from a viewership standpoint and engagement standpoint. And it'll be really fun to see where it goes as VR and video games and esports continue to take off. It's only, I think it's forward thinking for the league to be one of the first teams or one of the first leagues to embrace it and start building out that platform.
Do you guys think the esports league or the team will ever eclipse the traditional team in terms of popularity or even like revenue? And we talk about the platforms like Twitch where you can reach a worldwide audience with these teams. I mean, will that ever eclipse the normal basketball team?
That's a difficult one to answer. There's definitely potential for that. It's by its nature more attainable for more people. It's more democratic, right? It's the same thing that software does for the game of basketball. So it's basketball without borders or without physical limitations or age restrictions or gender restrictions. By its nature, it is more accessible. Its growth and how it compares to the NBA, I think they're both so intertwined that one success will generate more success for the other. So, it'll be fun to see them both grow, I guess, is the political answer.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about blockchain and Bitcoin, and it's been repeated many times in the previous panels, but tell us about how the Kings are using blockchain, and I think the Kings were the first team to allow fans to spend Bitcoin at the arena.
Yeah, that was in large part thanks to Ryan, the CTO, his vision and forward-thinking approach. But we started accepting Bitcoin for merchandise and tickets in 2014. And it was an interesting new technology. We weren't sure how to apply it to business operations, but we wanted to demo it and try. So we did that. The launch went successfully. And then just recently we added, in partnership with our community department, a Mining for Good initiative. So since our data center solar powered, we had extra rack space. We put in a few mining rigs and donate that to local STEM organizations. And it's, an example of there's a new technology that's great, but how do you do something impactful with it? And, it's easy to grab headlines, but what are you doing with that to actually enable something or to bring something about? So
are people actually buying stuff with Bitcoin? Or
we have some frequent shoppers with Bitcoin. So there's a few very dedicated people, as with the overall cryptocurrency space. There are some people who consistently come back and buy their season tickets with it every year. And our accounting department wouldn't let us hold on to it. Otherwise, we could have seen some different income from that, but for the most part, we just transact it, and another experience for a fan if they want to use it.
What are you guys most, and like we'll open up to questions here in a bit, but what are you just most excited about just future of sport? Maybe not even just IoT or the arena, but there's a whole other conversation about player and player tracking and wearables and sports performance, and there's a ton of innovation going on. Just what are you most excited about or worried about, or just something you're looking forward to in the future?
I'm just looking for the game of basketball. I love the game. I like to watch it. I like to be a part of the tech side of it to grow it. So I know we also one of the first teams to have 5G backbone in our facility, in our practice, in our plaza. Sacramento also is one of the first 4 cities to have 5G. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Having Qualcomm as a partner doesn't help. That does help.
I might be a little biased because I oversee some of the esports stuff, but that's a really interesting space because of how much interaction and engagement there is. Video games and how they fit in with the overall spectrum of sports and everything else has some interesting implications. You mentioned the data, getting smarter from all the data that comes from players, giving fans a closer, more interactive relationship with the game of basketball is always a good thing. Being a fan of basketball, you want to know what's going on with a player more, follow them on Twitter. All these technologies have kind of given you that behind-the-scenes look. And the more you can enable that, the more you can drive that fan engagement, I think is a great thing. How you consume it at home and all the possibilities there. We did a demo with VR quite a few years ago now where we broadcast it to a school in India, our owner's from India originally, so we broadcast it back to a school near his hometown and allowed kids to sit courtside right next to him, and then also to a children's hospital in Sacramento. And that was interesting to see how you can give somebody a chance to experience something that they otherwise wouldn't. So,
very cool.
We're also working on some cool projects that I just can't share because they're kind of top secret, but just kind of stay tuned and
You can share it here. This is a safe space.
So.
Cool. Any questions? Yeah, Greg?
So I heard an architect from HOK talk about building things for younger demographics, and he was very surprised by a number of the ways that they interacted with the game and interacted with sport. Like they started splitting season tickets, so you'd spend half your ticket in the bar and half the ticket at your seat. Have you guys seen unexpected ways that people are interacting with your technology, meaning the fans, that you didn't expect that somebody's taking advantage of in a really interesting way?
We definitely, the design of the arena has lent itself well to accommodate that. And if you've not been to our arena, I highly encourage you to come down and check it out. But we partnered with IDEO, the company that helped design some of Apple's products, and they thought about it from the viewpoint of that fan experience and how somebody interacts with the building itself. So we do have a lot of those standing room only areas that are more gathering spaces and social spaces, as opposed to sitting in a very confined seat, getting up, racing to grab a drink, and racing back to your seat. You're always connected to the action going on in the arena, whether you're on the plaza or in some of those community spaces. And then with the ticket packages themselves, our data group has done a lot to analyze, price categories and share, and even monthly subscriptions. So going to like a subscription package where you don't know what seat you're assigned until the day of the game, and that helps us, with our inventory and kind of optimize based on the user and the inventory. So, definitely a lot of implications and design elements that went into kind of the future of sports and venues.
Any idea what the Chase Arena folks are going to do?
They came to look at our arena, so.
So the Chase is Warriors, Golden State, right?
Correct, yep.
Is that like your big rival? Arena to arena, not just
I don't think they're going to touch us. But.
Yeah, for perspective, the Niners were touted as the highest throughput, highest bandwidth venue.
at Levi Stadium.
Yeah, and they had 220 gig pipes going in.
220 gig pipes. Our users have consumed 150 terabytes of Wi-Fi. And that's like one season, so it's a huge amount of data over the wire.
Yeah.
The commissioner has been a little bit more forward
Yeah, I think that lends itself well, and yeah, the commissioner is amazing at being forward-thinking and future-proofing the NBA for what's to come. We actually have an interactive wagering game in our app right now. It's just points-based. You can do it quarter by quarter, and it enters you into contests to win more prizes or events around the arena. So yeah, we're already looking at it and exploring it, and meet with the MGMs of the world just to gauge that space and learn from it. It's another fun way. I don't, fantasy sports or anything else that anybody's played. You have a lot more fun watching the game when your friend's next to you and something's on the line, or you guys have, you're on a team together against two other. I mean, it's just a fun way to interact with the game of basketball. So yeah, we'll be following lockstep with the NBA based on what they allow and don't allow, and we'll try to push the envelope in the meantime.
Yeah, that's fast. There's a company that Joe Montana actually just invested in that lets you control what's happening on the field. So the fans are the coaches, and they control it through the mobile app. So I think we're starting to see this merge of real life and fantasy. Yeah, maybe one more.
Yeah, I'd just like to hear when you think about bringing people into the arena and some of these innovative solutions. As you're thinking about the strategy of putting that together, how do you balance the fact that the game is happening down on the court, but then you're looking at building some of these other technologies and other engaging activities between taking away from the game or amplifying the game? What's the discussion like?
The innovation.
Yeah. Well, Mark Cuban is Dallas Mavericks owner, is kind of famous for saying he hates it. He doesn't want fans looking at their phone the entire game at all. So I think he's a huge tech guy, but he's very, very pushed back on that type of stuff. Whereas you guys seem to take you embrace it and pride yourself on how many Wi-Fi data is being used during a game, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I think Mark Cuban has since walked that statement back a little bit more. Somebody caught him on his phone courtside at a game and showed him the picture, and he's like, all right. And I think it's what do fans expect and want to do, and how do you provide that? And you are in some ways competing with the sitting at home on your couch and being able to click and have food delivered to your house, and having your surround sound going and your big screen. So yeah, a lot of the design elements of the arena itself, as I mentioned, were about engaging fans and engaging that social, that connectivity, that communal fireplace aspect that people still thrive. I mean, Vivek says it often that it's about the experience and being kind of an experience center, whether it's concerts or basketball games. And those shared experiences are the fun things that people remember. So, having Wi-Fi is great. It allows them to share that experience on Instagram or Twitter or wherever else. But at the end of the day, it's still like that community aspect, bringing people together and enjoying that game together. And the amenities are just kind of what's needed to keep fans happy.
I think we had one more, or one, and then one more, and then we got to wrap up.
And one more.
NFLPA based in DC. I do not have an NFL team. I'm a diehard Kings fan, born and raised in Sacramento.
Yes. Free tickets, free everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks, first of all, for all the work you've done. Just speak to, you mentioned the aspect of community around the arena. Speak to the ripple effect throughout the community in the city, sort of on a socio-economic level. Just the excitement around the team and this amazing arena that has on the city. What you've seen.
Yeah, it's huge. The ownership group, again, that vision that they had. If anybody's been to Sacramento at the old arena, Arco Arena, it was 15, 20 minutes out of downtown in the middle of a field, and very binary, event and then come back, an event and then come back. The new arena is right in the middle of downtown. The ownership group bought 6 city blocks or so there, completely revitalized it. The amount of development that's gone on around it well exceeds, in the billions of dollar range. Every day we leave work, it gets more and more exciting down there, more and more people hanging out. At night, music being performed out in the plaza, restaurants and retail coming online. And prior to the arena being built there, it was an old mall that was at best half filled and at best, safe to be at until 6 o'clock at night until the shops started closing down, and then nobody was really downtown. So yeah, I mean, it started there, and you're seeing block by block spreading from there. Just life and fun, and people running around, and and people enjoying the space.
A plethora of shows and events, concerts, people who would have come before that. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, one more.
You guys have talked a lot about the fan experience, and I'm just wondering what the technology component was for two different groups. First, for the players in the locker room, we'll get to come and see the arena, but we won't get to go back in the locker room. So I'm wondering what kind of innovation happens in that area. And then also, has there been any sort of exciting, innovative changes in your interaction with your sponsors?
Yeah, we don't talk a ton about the player stuff, but yeah, all the innovations you'd expect to see around the health and wellness and resting, recovery, all those things are being implemented on the player side. The latest and greatest practice facility was built directly next to the arena, so they have all the best shot tracking and workout performance gear and all that. To your second question, could you say it again? Sorry.
Just wondering what kind of advantages sponsors have seen from
the sponsorship.
technology, and what kind of, if there's been any interaction more so with the arena and sponsors and the fans.
Yeah, certainly on the mobile app side, they get engaged through that. At the simple level, leaving a game, you'd hand out flyers for sponsors or coupons there. Now we can just push it through the app, cutting down on carbon footprint and cheaper for the partner. But then even things like in the arena activations, the LED boards, the 4K screens, and just being able to bring their brand relevance into the atmosphere in a fun, engaging way.
Or if you're in the app and you're walking around, beacons can notify you, hey, there's a sale for Coke over here at the stand. So that's good for sponsorship as well.
Yeah, there's a startup in Seattle, actually. Kevin, I don't know if you remember the name of it, but they just came on the scene, and they basically do they call it parallel reality. So we could all be looking at the same sponsorship sign, but I see something different, you see something different, you see something different. So they're really bullish about this application of like you could sell 20,000 different sponsorships directed at 20,000 different people based on their data that you're pulling from their phone. So sponsorship, I think, is really interesting as you improve the technology around the arena.
Yeah, we work with, and it's the company powering that kind of mobile betting platform in our app. It's called Experial, but yeah, they do that. How do you make the world around you kind of interactive through brands, so you can scan a Coke label or a brand label, and that'll add to your power-ups or points in the app or whatever else. So there are some interesting applications in the partnership space.
Cool. Well, Eric, Ian, thanks for. I know you came up here on short notice, so I really appreciate you having you here. And I believe there's. What's that? Oh, there is a game on. There's an NBA game here on Friday, actually. Yeah. Are you hanging around?
Unfortunately, no.
We've got to be back to make sure our arena and all the other projects are ready for the real season when it comes around. But yeah, check it out this Friday. The Kings are playing the Warriors at Key Arena.
I think it's the last game at Key Arena or something like that. So Durant will be back. Yeah. So thanks again for coming. And
thanks for having us.
There's a party at WeWork, I think, after this. So hopefully we'll see you all there. Yeah.
Thanks again for sitting around on behalf of GeekWire, the Washington IoT Council, and all of the sponsors. We really appreciate you being part of the first IoT track, and hopefully we'll see you next year. Cool. Thanks.